and welcome to another Rise and Shine Creating 2020 Vision. I have another amazing guest here with us today. Welcome, Isabel Hundt.
Hello.
Hello.
In a while.
I know, it's good. I'm really glad to have you here today because we are wrapping up our conversations on the theme of vision. And I think you're an excellent fit for this because you are, one of the many things you do is you're a filmmaker. And so I'm excited to just talk to you about vision and, what that's meant for you and of course, anything that comes up in the flow of our conversation today. So I want to quickly welcome everyone that's here with us today, whether you're live or on replay. Thank you for being here with us. Let us know down in the comments, what is your vision for the second half of 2020 and beyond? This is your moment to choose what it is that you want to experience, what you want to step into, because this is your life. This is your life, and we're here to support you and empower you in feeling and being that alignment. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring it right back to today's guest, Isabel Hundt. And Isabel, I'm going to share with everyone just a little bit more about who you are.
Okay.
And let me grab right here. So Isabel Hundt is a sociologist, inspirational speaker, and filmmaker who focuses on globally engaging in cultural transformation and shattering cultural barriers through teaching emotional and self-awareness. And you can learn more about her and her work at thepowerofconnection.net. And so, Isabel, will you share with us just a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Who I am. I am who I am. I am that I am, right?
Exactly.
It's always hard to tell who I am. I always love this question. I'm like, what would I even answer? I am spirit, actually. No, I think over the last couple months, I've really experienced myself outside of this physical realm, outside of this physical limitation. So with that, it's always difficult to say this is who I am because I am all that is. And so, but who I embody within this physical experience is that I'm originally from Germany. I was born and grew up in Germany. I moved to the US about 10 years ago, where this entire shift happened for myself from identity crisis, not really feeling at home anywhere, to having to understand where my place is within this entire system and this construct, and then really digging really deep into what spirituality means for me. Like I really had to deconstruct everything I grew up with in terms of religion. And that brought me right into the spiritual and the spiritual perspective of our emotional world that I then combined with my background in sociology and really looking at how we're all connected, how we connect with each other, and how we have been programmed to not connect with each other so that we're always in that state of division. And so I'm bringing more awareness with that work into the world.
I love that answer because that very much resonates for me too, Isabel. So I love your answer to who am I? And I actually love how it brings it right back to, the deconstructing of everything and reconnecting, which I want to get to your film in a moment, but we're going to say a quick hello to Helene, who is with us this morning. So hello, Helene. Good to have you with us. And so okay, so I really want to ask you, what are your thoughts on vision in general? But before we get to that, will you just connect the dots for how then did you get to starting this film, The Power of Connection?
Ooh, how did I start that? I didn't want to. I was never planning on it. I never saw myself in this picture of creating a film, creating something that would eventually be out there for everyone to see, because there have been some limiting beliefs around, okay, critics, what will people say? Will they pretty much take me apart of, what they will see? But how it came, it really was over the last couple of years. I pretty much took every speech that I have always written, but some of them I never was able to use for whatever reasons, and And it's just really, you can tell, like it's a line, it's a beautiful flow through the last couple of years, and bringing that together in 60 to 90 minute documentary about how we are all connected. So how that actually came about was a dream at night, a prophetic dream, wherein my husband, the night before, I said, I'm tired. Like I'm tired of just talking about our emotional world. I just don't want to anymore. I need something more tangible that I can bring to people, where I can really, in a tangible, visual way, especially younger generations, help to understand how we're wired and what really gets in the way for us to connect with ourselves, but also with other people. So he said, well, why don't you just turn that into a documentary? I'm like, you're right, because I have so much experience in filmmaking. And so I went to bed, not even really thinking much about it. And the next morning I woke up and I meditated. And while I meditated, I heard the words, I already have given you the script, go do it. And within 2 days, I wrote out the script. I just for the fun of it, posted online. I was like, hey, I have this really cool idea. This is what it's about. Do we have anyone who would like to volunteer working with me on this? Because I have no budget. And within 2 weeks, we had an entire team together. It just came about, and we found the dates to film this. We started last year in November with the trailer. Then the trailer came out in January or February, at least the first version of it. And then COVID came, but we already had most of it finished right before it started, but right before everything was shut down. And then we filmed the last part in May, June. And so right now we're really working on the editing, which has shown to be a little challenging at this time. We had a lot of technical issues, and this year's just been crazy. So, but we're getting it out there. And then someone says, you're now a filmmaker. You can use that online. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. It's like, no, like you are talking to everyone. Like they're all professionals. They've all done it for at least 10 plus years, right? That work with me. And it's like, everything you are bringing to the table feels like you've already done that thousands of times before. You knew exactly what steps. My script is very detailed with all the files, everything. I brought everything to the table. Like, I don't know how I got all that knowledge. Like I knew what legal steps I had to take, and then just all those things. Like, I don't know, it just came to me. Like, this is what I was supposed to do, apparently.
Well, and I think it's actually fitting time. I know, the pandemic just created so many, changes in everyone's world that they weren't expecting. I totally get that. And it's the perfect time for this film. So, isn't that, I don't know, I find that so, ironic, and yet there's no real irony. Like, it's fitting.
No, because it has been in the works for years. And then exactly a year ago, August a year ago was when I had that prophetic dream and things started to come together. And so it's not something I had planned. Like, it's not something like, oh, now is the great opportunity to create something. Let's do this. Like, I never even thought of that. How could you? Like, there was nothing there.
Well, so let me ask you then. So what are your thoughts then about vision in general?
Mm-hmm. I actually have a talk that was one of my more popular ones. It's called Have We Been Lied to About Manifestation and Vision Creating? Because I think we have, for one, we have turned something so spiritual as a vision into something so artificial. Okay. That we just think about the next goal that we have, that we just think about, this is what I want my life to look like, that we are operating within, like, we don't notice when it comes to visions, like I need to figure out how to explain that best. We have created our little bubble, our little world, right? And within that social construct, we let other people in that are in our country, in our community, in this world. Like, there are all those different circles around us, pretty much, if you see it energetically. And so within that, we create our little visions, and we don't realize if we do ever want to create something that is for a greater good of all, that is in alignment with our soul, that is in alignment with love, then we have to create a vision outside of that circle. Because otherwise, we always add energy into our current situation. So, for example, if we feel challenged, like we have the financial, let's say someone comes and says, I want to create financial abundance for my life. This is my vision. This is how much I want to have in my account, blah, blah, blah. We create that vision from our current narrative. Does that make sense? We create it from the current narrative, not from a place of peace or a place of gratitude or a place of just a spiritual understanding of connection. We create it from our current narrative. So what we do, we have that balloon, like financial challenges as a problem. And no matter what we feed into it, no matter in which way we have experienced that challenge, like, let's say we feed that balloon with, I don't have enough finances to do this. We're putting energy into the balloon, so the balloon gets bigger. But I am setting the intention that I will be a millionaire next week. We're still putting energy into the same problem, and the balloon just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we wonder why we are not a millionaire, because probably the intention, the subconscious agenda behind being a millionaire is probably not quite aligned with your soul and with the way we are called to operate within communities. And that's where the problem is. We always continue feeding our vision within the same narrative. And that's usually not where it works. How it works. Like, there's so many gurus out there that say, if you just envision it, it will come. It will, but not if you're staying within the same narrative.
So if you're able to step out of the narrative, let go of it.
Here's another example. Don't call me crazy, but I'm able to shift the weather. So when there's a storm coming in, I can literally put myself into a place to move whatever is happening. Like, we had it so many times happening that we had tornadoes coming right at us. I was able to sit and literally have a conversation with Mother Earth, saying, okay, in the name of a greater good and divine love, whatever people want to say, Holy Spirit, I demand for the clouds to move and for the tornadoes to move in different directions. I always say, if you want to be safe weather-wise, just move next to us. Usually you're safe. I'm not kidding. Like, we already had it where there was blue sky above our house and there were like storms around us. And I'm like, where are all the trees moving? Because ours are not moving. So that already happened. But what I have noticed, I can only manifest that vision of not getting hit by the weather if I am in the storm, if I'm in the middle of the storm with peace. So I am not off the problem, but I'm in the problem, being able to operate it, like to move it. I hope I can explain that right, because, man, that's a weird vision. Like, I have pictures and I'm trying to explain the picture.
I think a storm or a tornado is actually an excellent metaphor, because we can all envision
in the middle. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I can only, if I try to move the weather from a place of, oh my gosh, hopefully it's not going to hit us. Hopefully it's not going to hit us. Or I need to move this. I really have to. Or we can't have this happening. Then I'm operating from a place of fear. Even if I think I'm just envisioning this not happening, then I'm still operating from a place of fear and it will not move. But when I really get myself into an alpha brainwave state where I'm literally not connected to what is going to happen, but I just have this genuine communication with Mother Earth, with feeling the connection to the weather, I am able to move it. I'm able to, it's such a beautiful place of peace and freedom where you just become one with the clouds, and you feel how your atoms, your own molecules, connect to those of the weather, of those around you. Like I said, for some this may sound really, really crazy.
I love it.
Kind of witchy. But if we really do understand what Albert Einstein already had said, that we are one, molecules, atoms, that this is just different densities, then we have the power. The Bible says it too. Jesus said it too. You will be doing greater things than I, if we can understand that connection. And that's the place where we have to create visions. We cannot create any vision from a place of, I need this, I should have this, I want to do this, or I can't live the way I have now, or how I live my way now. This doesn't resonate. I don't want this anymore. Like, if we come from this place, nothing will actually really happen. So we have to create different visions. So, for example, if you do find yourself with financial challenges, step outside of the problem, ask yourself, what is the lesson for me in this? And then embracing the lesson as something greater than you. If you can turn that vibration of the lesson into, the minute you accept it as a lesson, the vibration changes. And from there, you can really create a flow of abundance. And that can come in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be, what I do want to create is abundance. And that can be, for me, recognizing what I already have. This could be people just gifting me suddenly some money that I never thought would be there. Or I receive help of people who just say, I volunteer my time and commit to this project. You don't have to pay me. Those kind of things. And we have to be open. But we're so focused on, like, something that I learned in coaching, and I just don't resonate with it after 10 years anymore. Create the detailed vision, exactly how you want this to see unfold. That's bullshit.
Well, I love the example you give, Isabel. I think that is that's a new tool for everyone to use. If things aren't working already for them and they want to step into more of a solution of whatever the current challenge or problem is in their life, like, that's a beautiful way to look at it and to infuse yourself into the problem so you can expand outwardly what it is, your vision or what it is you want to manifest. I love that. So, like, as she's talking, I'm like, I'm getting some new ideas for things, like, okay. And I'm like, oh, I got to talk next. We're supposed to got to keep going. But for those that are with us, what ahas are coming up for you? Is this giving you some new ideas of something you could do to shift a challenge in your life, something you'd like to change, something new you'd like to experience and bring in, but somehow haven't been able to? Is this giving you some new ideas? I'd love to hear from you on that. So, Isabel, I'm going to move right along. I want to share with everyone what your vision is for 2020. When I asked Isabel what her vision is, she said, my 2020 vision involves the art of peace by incorporating spirituality and the solution finding process in today's world on an individual as well as collective level. And that, to me, speaks right to what you were just describing for us. Mm-hmm. And I want to just ask you, is there something more specific with the phrasing art of peace?
I think peace is an art in and of itself. We talk about peace, but usually we try to create peace within the scenario of war. If we're at war with ourselves, if we're at war with our neighbors, we can never create peace. If we're at war with ourselves, we can go and protest for justice, but we're still bringing that energy of injustice with ourselves. So we're not actually creating peace. We're just fighting the war. Like, we're fighting fire with fire, right?
Right.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, because a lot of people are very, very passionate, very, especially about different topics like racial issues, injustice, environment, but don't recognize how they're operating, again, within that turmoil within themselves, trying to create that. You cannot create justice if you're operating from a space of injustice.
Oh, that's another mic drop one right there. I love that.
It takes a lot of winding in your brain to get there. And it took me a long time, honestly, to get to a different experience from which I can create shift. So, for example, what is happening, like, within our social construct, I think we're all way too predictable in our reactions. All the problems that have been created pretty much are constructed. Like, these are not by default. They don't just show up because, and people who have created that by default, whoever they are, the system overall, there is, like, it's almost like you sprinkle baking soda on vinegar, and you're already expecting a reaction. Like the reactions that we see within our society, within the populations, are expected. It just depends on how much of a reaction people want, whoever is in power, to determine how we best can control the narrative. We're so predictable in our reactions because we're so predictable within ourselves. We don't have this awareness most people don't have this awareness in how they react to certain things and how this comes across or what energy it carries with it. We're predictable. If we were to just sit in silence and do really just like, if millions of people were sitting in the streets meditating, and we all have this goal to meditate for peace and love, and sitting in that space of peace and love, whoever wants to control the narrative has no longer power over the narrative because it's not predictable.
Very much. So what I hear is
you can take that down to any problem that you have within your personal life as well.
So what I hear is really being aware of how are you creating peace, and if you have contradicting energies around you that are not actually allowing you to
manifest within yourself. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Awesome. Well, Isabel, we are actually near the end of today's show already.
Every time.
So, I want to do a couple of things. So I'm going to pull a card. From a deck. I actually haven't done that the last few days, so I'm going to do that today. And I'm going to pull from my self-love deck. While I do that, I know something I've been asking all my guests, and is at the very end of the show if they would be open to, I'll rephrase it. Do something creative with the word vision in it somewhere, somehow. And so I would love if you would share with us something. It could be anything at all. It could be a song, or it could be a poem, or it could be, just a new quote you want to create with the word vision. It could be anything at all, really.
I actually want to share something totally different. Because I'm not really a poet. I know how to write speeches, but I really have to get into the zone, sing a song. Yeah, no, I'm not singing a song. I'm really not a singer.
They love that part of the show. I do too.
Really? Do people sing? Do you really sing?
Some people do.
I actually want to share I think something that will stick with people, where people are like, okay, let me think through this. And I wanted to share that already last 30 minutes. It's a quote by Hafiz. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. That is a vision that we need to thrive for.
Can you say that one more time?
Yes. Even after all of this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky.
Oh, I love that.
It goes so deep. I had to read it like 5 times to really get the idea behind this. But that is the art of peace.
Yes. That's allowing. That's embracing who you are and letting other people be who they are. That's accepting. That's being. That's power versus force. That's the power. You're not forcing anything to change. Yes. You're letting natural power to flow.
It's self-responsibility. It's creating a vision of peace for yourself. Nobody owes me. And I still can shine my light without any condition.
Okay, thank you. That was beautiful. That was excellent. I love that.
I'm the one who leaves the audience usually sitting there for 5 minutes before they start clapping, because I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, no, it was awesome. So at the start of that, I was pulling cards. One card popped out, and I'd like to still pull one more. But let's see. This first one, oh, I love this. This first one is, my business is prosperous.
There you go.
And the back of it says, I love this. There's always a connection between the cards that pop out and the conversation, okay. So the back of it is, I rejoice in other people's successes because I know there is plenty for everyone. That to me speaks right to the would you call that a quote, or what you just read from Hafiz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Let's get one more message for everyone who's here with us today, whether live or on the replay. What's the message that wants to come through? There we go. Oh, okay. This top one here. It says, I trust the intelligence within me.
Ha, see, there you go.
And the back says, there are no problems that do not have a solution. There are no questions without answers. So, Isabel, thank you so much for what you shared here today. Will you tell everyone where they can go? I did pop up your, I put it on there. I'm not seeing it, so I'll make sure it's there as soon as we get off. But will you tell everyone where they can go to find out more about your film or to connect with you in any other way afterwards?
Yeah, there's my main website. It's isabelhunt.com. And then there is the one for the Power of Connection. We see it here, the film poster. It's the power of connection.net, where people can follow along where we're at. We were planning on September launch, but it doesn't quite look like it. We had a few technical crashes on everything and lost some material that, it wasn't too good.
You know what? That means the next new material is going to be even better.
Well, yeah. We already had put a lot of work into putting this together, and then the computer crashed, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all going to be good. I think with how things are unfolding in this world, this will be a documentary that will be significant for a long time coming, especially for younger generations who are now moving through this experience worldwide.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. I want to just give a quick little shout out again to our live viewers. We have Carol and Sherry with us as well. And Helene's little positive message saying, I can, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely.
She wants to sing for us. Because I think that's when she posted it.
And she is a great singer, by the way. She is, yes. And Sherry is saying, Isabel, everything happens for a reason.
That's very true. And it could also be just a reflection for me. Where am I not setting clear boundaries? Where am I letting energy flow away from me instead of toward me?
And look at that awesome self-awareness. I love it, love it, love it. And that was also an example of what you were just talking about, that personal responsibility, right? Everything that happens in our lives, it's like, okay, how did I contribute to this? Whether I was aware of it or not. And there's so much that can come through that question alone. So,
we could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I know. I challenged myself by saying, these are 30-minute shows, 30-minute shows.
Right.
Well, Isabel, you shared so much wisdom. Thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. Again, like I said, every single vision conversation has been different. Mm-hmm. And I love that we're actually able to connect this conversation to this amazing vision you had for your film, The Power of Connection. I'm going to put it up here on the screen one more time again. That's exciting. I'm excited to see this film whenever it comes out. It's going to be just excellent timing. And totally sending positive vibes to that vision. And, I'm excited. So thank you for being here today. And thank you. And for everyone, definitely go to thepowerofconnection.net to check that out. And I got to quickly add, what is your vision for the second half of 2020? If you would like some support in amplifying your vision, I would love to offer that. Let me know down in the comments, wherever you watch today's video, what is your vision? Let me know if you're interested in a free virtual reality call with me, and we will connect, and I will happily support you in amplifying your vision for 2020 and beyond. And with that said, I hope you have an amazing day. Whatever new ahas came up for you today, take these with you and apply them to different things that show up in your world. Your metaphor, Isabel, about sitting in the eye of the storm and being in it to then be able to shift it is awesome and can be applied to so many things that, I just wanted to, remind everyone about that, because that's something I just feel like the phrase infinite possibilities absolutely comes up with that.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. So anyway, I'll leave you with that, and I hope you have an amazing day, everybody. Isabel, stay right there, and I'll see you all again very soon on Thursday for another Rise and Shine, Creating 2020 Vision. See you soon, everybody.